So, how am I going to approach this? This prepossessing gentleman has been convicted of a series of the most dreadful crimes. Crimes so awful that I felt sick when I read about them, and I realised that there was no way I was going to be able to read any of the rap sheet out to you. I just don't even want to form the words. That's how bad I feel about it. Now, this thing was called The Master by his co-religionists and colleagues in crime. And that should give you an example, that should give you a pointer to how he and his the members of his community saw what they were doing, and definitely as something of which to be proud, rather than something that exposes them as slimy bullies. But that, apart from that, they have committed even more crimes against the British people, because they have, having been convicted, they have for years fought extradition to Pakistan, where they hold citizenship as well. And they have cost the British people millions of pounds in legal fees, something for which I think they too will be feeling an immense amount of pride. You know, make the kaffir pay a type of attitude, because that appears to be the attitude they have generally. Now, before the ruling was due to be handed down that would have had them deported, some clever human rights lawyer came up with the immensely brilliant wheeze of having this guy renounce his Pakistani citizenship. You cannot, according to international law, you cannot intentionally make a person stateless. So if he doesn't have Pakistani citizenship, then you can't deport him to Pakistan, and you can't deprive him of British citizenship. So this thing is now a British citizen. It's a very difficult case because, as is often the way with these sorts of rules, you start off applying them in cases that are very cut and dried, and you know that this person doesn't deserve to be a citizen of any country, least of all of Britain. But then it sort of snowballs and starts being applied to people who really don't deserve that sort of punishment. That's the slippery slope effect, and it is a problem. What do you do with him now? Well, you know, I know what I'd like to do with him, but we are supposed to be a civilized society. And I'm going to leave the arguments about that to other people, because I'm not a lawyer. But I do hope that somebody just as clever as that human rights lawyer comes up with a suitable way of dealing with this creature. However, I do want to talk about my search criteria, because I typed into the search panel, because I wanted to see what everyone said about it, human rights lawyers, Pakistan and grooming. And of course, I got these guys up straight away. And if you just look at this first page, wrong to deport Rochdale grooming gang members, ITV. Rochdale grooming gang members can't be deported from UK. That's GB News. Mirror says Rochdale grooming gang leader dubbed the Master wins, and that's probably wins his right to stay in Britain. Op India Op India, grooming gang rapists cite human rights to fight deportation. Rochdale grooming gang members fight deportation under, this is the Independent. The Telegraph, Rochdale grooming gang leader avoids deportation. The Metro, grooming gang rapists say deportation to Pakistan violates their human rights. For those of you outside the country, you might be able to raise a hollow laugh on that one when you consider how they violated the human rights of thousands of British children. But yeah, again, I'm leaving that aside for the moment. And then Lancashire Live, ringleader of sex grooming gang will not be deported from. And then Global Village Space is the only one in this page. Just a minute, the BBC, I'll do the BBC first. Rochdale grooming gang, wrong to deport members, tribunal, and then your tribunal decides. Now, Global Village Space is the only one who has come halfway near the truth. 3 Pakistanis booked in child abuse in UK fight deportation. GlobalVillageSpace.com is the only one that hasn't used the word grooming. When are the British people going to stop using that word? They didn't groom these children. They raped them. They abused them. They drugged them. They sold them. They bartered for them. They beat them up. They didn't groom them. Grooming refers only to the foreplay of a wrongful relationship. These guys were or are slavers. They enslaved British children on British soil with the collusion of British police officers and the British government. They aren't grooming gangs. They are slave traders. And anyone who talks about the British historical guilt over transatlantic slave trade or something, just remember we have slavery going on right here in this country right now, because these people are the only ones who got caught. There are others who have not been caught, who were not caught, and there are plenty carrying on this foul trade on our soil right now. And we, our newspapers and people like, well, not quite like me because I'm actually coming out with it, many people call them grooming gangs. I groom my horses. These guys were slavers. It's just embarrassing for the British to recognise that they have been enslaved on their own territory in the 20th century and the 21st. That British people never, never, never will be slaves. Well, they are slaves. And these are the people who enslaved them. And nobody's saying that. Well, I'm saying that. And I wish more people were saying that. It's a national embarrassment. Not that the police didn't act, not that the government didn't act, but that everybody in this country is still calling them grooming gangs and refusing to stand up and look at the reality. And the reality is slavery. Slavery in this country. Slavery of our citizens, slavery of our vulnerable children, and slavery that we are referring to as grooming. All right, I'm Granniopteryx. I'm to be found on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. I let you know when I've uploaded a video on my social media platforms where I am at Granniopteryx. please subscribe to one of those, because especially if you're watching this on YouTube, they very often miss out on stuff, especially on stuff they don't find that pleasant or cooperative to their worldview. Okay, please like this video, please share it, I think it's important. Please subscribe. If you think you're subscribed, just subscribe again, because sometimes that too drops out. Okay, till next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the granniopteryx design or Grambo, with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.granniopteryx.com, and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share, share, share.